Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Dr. Ryan Shakley here, your Annapolis Chiropractor. Today I'm going to go over a blog post that I wrote. It's entitled The Last Diet You Will Ever Need, and it's completely free. Every time that you turn around these days, there's a new fad diet being hyped on social media, internet advertisements, TV, and they all do the same thing. They try to promise you instant results. Many times due to some new miracle compound or recently discovered magic superfood. I'm sure you know the old adage. I heard my grandmother say it many times. If something sounds too good to be true, it usually is, and that's 100% the case here. Unfortunately, the vast majority of these diets out there, they're not much more than a scam. And some can even be detrimental to your health, especially if you use them for a long period of time. These things are more like crash diets than anything else. The great news is here that the secret to weight loss, the long-term weight management, lots of energy, and a long, happy, and healthy life is infinitely more simple than even those fad diets claim. The first step to that process, okay, is getting rid of actually the word diet. Getting rid of diets as most people know them. The reason why most diets fail is because people using them are under the false impression that, radically changing their diet for a week or a month, even a few months, will permanently fix their issues. I'll crash diet down, I'll drop this weight, and it'll stay, it'll plateau off, I'll stay at that level. Unfortunately, that's not how it really works, because people crash diet, and then usually what happens is they basically rebound back. They return to their previous habits, there's previous problems come right back, and sometimes they actually regress and things get actually worse than they were when they started. They actually gain more weight, they end up weighing more and worse health than when they actually started these things. The answer here is really just stop dieting, and clearly understand what the word diet means. It simply means the sum of food consumed by a person. Your diet shouldn't really be viewed as a weight loss plan. It should be viewed as giving your body, healthy fuel to run as you were designed. If you do that, the weight loss will come with little effort to you. Healthier foods typically are less calorie dense than junk food, which means you will stay full without the excess calories, that quickly lead to weight gain. The second step for most people in this is understanding that nearly every single person on the planet loves to eat. We've all said that at some. Oh, I love to eat. I love to eat. We've heard people say that. I wish I could lose weight, but I love to eat. I wish I could do that, but I love to eat. Really, everyone has an emotional attachment at some level to foods. And certain foods that most people have attachments to, aren't really viewed as being 100% healthy. And the deal is with that's okay. It's really okay to enjoy eating certain foods that you love. The key here is, you simply need to acknowledge those foods, and you need to understand why you like those foods. And realize that you are the one that makes those decisions. You decide what to eat, when to eat, and how much to eat. So it really boils down to a handful of simple decisions every single day. When those few decisions come up, you simply acknowledge them and make more good choices than bad choices. Okay, it's very simple. So just think for a moment about how valuable your body is. You only get one of these to last your entire life. It's capable of extraordinary things. And even, modern science is still discovering how all of it works. We're still not 100% sure. This body, your body, is easily capable of generating, at least $1 million or more worth of services, ideas, and work, over your entire lifespan. So to put that in perspective, if you were to go out today and you spent $1 million, that million that your body generates, you took that money and you spent it on a racehorse, what would you feed it? Would you load it down with a constant stream of junk food and sugar and, fast food, overly processed foods? Probably not. You would want it to run as close to 100% as possible, and feeding it the proper food would be an obvious decision for you. A lot of people go around, they feed not only a racehorse, but, a cat, our dogs, our fish. They actually get a more steady, better diet than we feed ourselves. So the question is here, why? Why do we do this to ourselves? Why do we almost purposefully get in our own way? We purposely set obstacles in front of ourselves on our plate, and then we trip on that hurdle every single time. So why are we putting it there to begin with? Again, it simply boils down to a few good choices and staying out of your own way. Your body will run the way it's intended to run. if you give it the fuel it's intended to run on. You will lose that weight if you eat proper foods. It happens 100% of the time. Simple diet, simple exercise. So the third and final step to this thing is educating yourself on what foods your body was designed to run on. I mentioned those already, that we need to focus on that. So what we're designed to run on, very simple. And for the vast majority of people here, it does not require the purchase of a lot of exotic foods and supplements and all these things. There are really just a few simple rules. So first, eat as many vegetables as you want, okay? As many ones, especially the green leafy ones. Throw some fruit in there as well. Fruit's good for you. You don't want to focus too much on that. There's some sugar in there, but it's okay. Again, you really want to focus on having some proteins in there. You want to add some sensible proteins. That's the second step. There's a lot of vegetable proteins out there that are good. People are surprised about that, but there are a lot of good ones out there. Also meat. So you can do, for the meat eaters out there, you can do some lean cuts, like chicken and turkey and fish and lean pork and lean beef, etc. As a general rule, you want to make sure that that portion size isn't really bigger than the palm of your hand. It's a kind of a general guideline to go by. And third, and extremely important, limit your intake of grains. You really want to keep an eye on that, especially refined grains like white breads and pasta. They actually are really detrimental to your health, and I can go on a whole nother topic onto that. But grains and also dairy should really be consumed in condiment sizes. So what that means is small additions to your meal, not the main focus or base of it. So think like a plate of pasta with a little bit of salsa on top. It's just really not a good idea for your body. It wasn't designed to run on that. It's going to kind of shut down your system a little bit there. Lastly, so we talked about that. We talked about the dairy. So lastly, your choice of sweeteners is actually very important too. Increasing amount of sugar consumption has rapidly degraded the health here, especially in the United States as a whole, and has caused obesity and type 2 diabetes. We've actually labeled these things epidemics. So let's be honest with each other. The majority of the time, now I understand there's a certain small percentage of the population that has genetic issues that can lead to some of these problems and predispose people to some of these problems. But the vast majority of the time, these are decisions. Obesity and type 2 diabetes, they're self-induced health problems. But the good news is they can be corrected by following those simple steps, just simply by keeping an eye on the amount of sugar you're eating. In addition, artificial sweeteners like the ones in those blue, pink, and yellow packets, those are actually synthetic chemicals that react with the body to make your tongue think that it's actually sweet. Unfortunately, those chemicals don't trick the brain. Your brain knows that these things are not sugar, it's not a calorie source, and it will cause you to seek out calories and seek out actual sugars. And to kind of binge on those things when you do find them, because you've basically put in a neurostimulant and now it's really, really wanting those things. So that's also why several recent studies have found that people that drink 2 diet sodas a day are actually 500 times more likely to weigh more and have a larger waistline than those that kind of avoid those things. So the good alternative there, if you're looking for that, is to use a good stevia sweetener. And those are available at pretty much every grocery and health food store around the area. No problem finding that stuff at all. So that's really all there is to it. Really just follow those 3 simple steps that I mentioned. They all revolve around making a few better decisions every day. And all you really need to do to get started towards a better you is really just take the first step. Okay, that's really all there is to it. So if you're interested in kind of rereading this, looking at the script, I do have this listed on my website, shakleychiro.com, under the blog. Feel free to look through those. And also appreciate it if you'd subscribe to the channel, follow us, check us out on Facebook, go to the website. So other than that, have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you next time.